Welcome in to the new members and to the old members that have found their way back to the community. I need you just as much as you need me. I've come on to do an update here this early afternoon to look at a couple key things. And one is going to be the XRP Bitcoin pairing. And this is going to be the predominant thing that we're going to look at here. As in the weekly time frame, we're extremely in the oversold areas. And we're on a breakout attempt right now. For transparency, I did buy back into this the moment it went back over 808. So I'm trying to time this with this breakout. And it came back over 808 on this descending formation. And to me, that's the area once it gets over, well, 811. But to me, I was looking at that candle before. But 811 right here, as long as that's when it's trying to make this a breakout attempt. We're still within what I consider a little bit of a form channel here that we must get over to confirm this breakout at 819. But right now, it really looks like with the pairing, it could be on the move. It really could be on the move here. It's a little bit undervalued here, and especially in the weekly time frame. Like, we're looking at a lot of different cryptocurrencies right now that are on the opposite end of the spectrum here when it comes to the weekly time frame. There's not really any I can point to that are in this position. Any other crypto I go to, and I know this is the pairing, but even with XRP, it's working its way back up. There's nothing you can really point to just say, oh, well, it's in the oversold area in the weekly sense. This has been teasing a breakout for some time. It came down and teased support. Now very well in this touchdown. Like we've said at that 6-9, this could be forming a bull flag here for the push up. And eventually we're looking for this to retouch up at like the 969 area. But we'll go into that. We'll talk about that after the intro. We'll talk about everything we're looking here as far as the pairing is concerned. Because I've already done an XRP technical analysis this morning. So make sure you go and watch that. I don't want to supersede what I put that work in to do, but I want to show everybody the XRP Bitcoin pairing at a closer glance so that maybe you can come to a understanding of where we're exactly at in the timing within not just XRP, but also with Bitcoin, where it's at its pattern as a whole. And the fact that maybe Bitcoin here has a farther correction down than we might expect, but we'll also tie in a little bit of XRP analysis because we're going to have to see in the current trajectory, because we want to see exactly where that momentary drop would happen. We know we have a technical drop down to 34.92 out of this rising channel. And right now we're in the short term, which is the expandable area, because it's basically telling you if you were to break down this falling channel that's outside of here, this would signify the rest of that move down, and it would not be pretty. 34.5, 35 cents is the targeted move off of that busted rising channel, which was a multi-year formation, and that could bring you down to 34.9 cents. And if that happened and we had the scenario where this did play out true and we didn't get any kind of bounce back, you're looking at about a 32% drop out of XRP. Now with Bitcoin, when you compare it and you actually look at it with the entirety of what it's creating with us right now, I mean, you're looking at a pretty substantial, and I don't even know if 51,000 is going to hold when it comes down there. But right now, we're building into and the best way to put this is it feels like we're going to get a reversal sooner than later, because in the smaller time frames, we're going to end up being oversold in the 2, 3, 4 hours. It's going to work its way, especially if Bitcoin trickles down to 59.5 or even 58.3. It's going to put itself in a position where it's going to be a necessary reversal. It's going to have one. And I have a feeling that if it does come down here to 59,400, that might be a logical bounce spot. It could be a logical bounce spot. XRP right now is at 49.21. And right now, XRP is teetering. I'm breaking through this short-term channel, and that's at 49.20. So small bull flag still looks like it's in play here. And it very well, this could be a moment where somehow XRP finds a little bit of relief here, because the XRP Bitcoin pairing speaking to something. It's speaking to the fact that somehow XRP is going to outperform Bitcoin here. And we're trying to figure out how exactly that's going to happen. So please make sure to hit that like button so that YouTube recommends this update. It's a trying time for me personally, as I've been losing subscribers as XRP goes down, which is very normal. But I would like to entice a new audience as well as my older audience, and create a wider journey here as well. So I'm going to look at XRP Bitcoin pairing, and we're going to keep studying this as the days go on. And like in this update, it's going to be targeted at that. But we're still obviously going to do the analysis of XRP and Bitcoin because they tie into the pairing. So we're going to need to know what happens. So please make sure to hit that like button. And I will catch you on the other side of the intro, as I'm going to take a minute to catch my breath. You can take a minute to hit the like button and get yourself prepared for this update. I appreciate each and every one of you. Good early afternoon, 12:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, April 30th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So the overwhelming thing that we're seeing here right now is the XRP Bitcoin pairing is in fact teasing a breakout. We've been talking about this for a few days. It just hasn't been able to garner the steam to break that extra layer. Now, it could very well fall back through here and come down to 805 and validate that, but we really want to start seeing a retest and hold at 811 if it's going to break down at all. Right now we have an engulfing candle here on the 4 hourly. It just started here 17 minutes ago. So right now we're really starting to tease the fact that we could be starting something here with the XRP Bitcoin pairing, and we're trying to figure out, because you can see that W reversal, it snuck in there, even fulfilled this little bear flag that filled out to come back and touch the bottom. So something is happening here with the pairing. The pairing is teasing this for a reason, and this was within the consolidation, and it's not like it's going to be off of this short move. This isn't anything to write home about. You're not going to become a millionaire off of this. But it is suggesting that if it bounces up, as we've talked about in the past, and it breaks out, that this short-term move should come back around the 200-day. This is exactly what we've been seeing. It's exactly what we've been seeing. And that's about, and this isn't nothing to write home about, it's about a 3.4% move here. Or 3.7% move. That's the short term what it's looking like. But if it comes out and does more than a double top up here, it could have a much larger move here. I like to look at the longer time frames, and when you start to see the relative strength index oversold like that in the weekly, I mean, you have to start looking back. And it makes perfect sense how this starts to happen, how we start to have these rallies. I've circled every single time in the XRP Bitcoin pairings history that it's had the touchdown to this support line and what happens following it. And it's nothing short of spectacular. Every time it comes into that consolidation, it ends up breaking out. And sometimes it doesn't reach as far. Sometimes it has an expandable wick that comes down a little bit farther. But you can see every time it hits these areas, they have massive breakouts. The only question is like here, it didn't have to come down here. So it very well could be starting some kind of lower high formation or higher low formations here. Because even if you look here, even to here, it's a higher low. So after here, when we hit this pretty uniformly and then came through, now the last couple times they've been higher low formations. But it's been very beaten down here. It's been more beaten down than typically here as well, without a relief rally of some kind. So, but every time, hold on, let me not lose my thought, because there's a lot of information here. Every time it bounces down and holds the consolidation formation, from the breakout point, there's massive returns. I mean, even the first time you're looking at over 600%, and I'm not talking from the bottom, I'm talking about from the breakout point. So even here, you push past the breakout here. Where the heck did this go? How did it end up? Okay. So you push back the breakout right here, and you can even see this is an even wider one. You had 600 on one. On this one, this is a massive one. This one's like 1,000%. And we're not saying you're going to go up 1,000%, but what I'm trying to show here is when the reversal finally happens, and the weekly is a big indicator. We are very oversold in the relative history of the XRP Bitcoin pairing. We're so oversold right now. In this instance, the third one, it was 648% after it hit that breakout point. The fourth instance, when it finally started going back over the breakout point, and I've been going up a little bit because you can see the breakout candle in the weekly. This, when you go from the breakout candle, was 188%. From the bottom, you know, you can do it yourself, but that's a 200% breakout there even. And that was without breaking out of this formation. The rest of them broke back through the new highs out of their current consolidation. This hasn't. This has been an extended consolidation. Now, that's what I mean. Like, we're through an extended. Last time we had a big extended consolidation like this, and it wasn't even this big, that's where we hit that 1,000%er with the XRP Bitcoin pairing. Now, if this breaks out from here, we don't know where it's going to be. We're just projecting that maybe it'll be at the top of 940 is where we could get the real breakout, maybe. How we've done the last, because you'll have that nice reversal. And even from here, that, you know, that's 440%. So there's big opportunity if this is ready to bust. And look at the weekly. We don't typically come this high in the weekly with the relative strength index and the oversold. Look how high we are. We don't typically. Here we came about similar before a nice big move up. Here, it didn't even come as high. Even when you go back as far, it doesn't come as high with the volatile moves. It's usually when it gets back to the border. So, I mean, it's been trending in this. Something big seems to be looming. And whether that's Bitcoin drops a lot faster than XRP, or if there is going to be something that happens that catches us off guard when it comes to XRP, or if this is just a fake out. But at some point, that weekly is going to have to play out in that fashion. But right now, we're trying to decide, is this the moment, or is this part of the fake out? And that doesn't mean XRP is going to have a big rise with this. That means that in some way, it's going to outperform a Bitcoin. And in the short term, it's teasing a 4%, it's going to outproduce it. So does that mean, I don't know, a 10% drop out of Bitcoin and only 6% out of, I mean, you can speculate. But right now, XRP to me isn't in the greatest spot. It needs to try to hold this 4-hour double bottom at least at this 4.9. Well, that's 486, so I guess it has a little bit more room. But you really don't want to be coming underneath this little channel that was formed here. And this is basically the expansion out of here. Otherwise, this drops the right arm. If these go bearish, this drops the right arm. And then you're probably left with no choice but either a double bottom that somehow forms here at 4669, another bottom here at 408, or you're probably on your way to 35 to 39 cent range, which is by 408, because we still have to remember we have the overall pattern formation on XRP, which is the all-time uptrend the all-time uptrend going back to when we had all-time highs. So this still would have to be breached, and we don't want that. If this gets breached at 39.3 in current form, 39 cents, that's very bearish. The fact we're outside of the cup and handle is not bullish. You know, so XRP is either working on a masterful reversal in this falling channel that it's within, or we're falling outside of it and we're going to have a hell of a recovery to the downside. So, very tricky here. It's very tricky. I still am very intrigued by the XRP Bitcoin pairing because it's teasing in the time. It might not even be today. This could be a fake out. But in time, watching the weekly time frame, it looks like it's teasing something larger. So, shorter time, who knows? We could consolidate back down. This could have been just a quick push up here to this resistance area, and then we could very easily lose the 810, come back down here and reconsolidate and see what happens again. And then it very well could also pull down here as well and come down to this downtrending support area at 787. So there's a lot of differential here that we could look at. I'm just very intrigued by the weekly time frame and the possibilities going forward, because it's definitely building into something, and it's intriguing. It's very intriguing. I don't like this though. I'm gonna actually redo a lot of this, and then we can do it back in the short term. But I want to clear out some of this noise here in the weekly, and then we'll relook at this from a weekly standpoint and see what it's trying to tell us. Because I did notice something right here that stood out to me this entire update, where we kind of started to teeter on like this kind of consolidation, and then yeah, we broke down, but as you can see, we're still within it. I mean, I think there's something more to that support structure there, and that comes down to that, I believe, 766 area, 762. But it's interesting. It's very, very interesting with the XRP Bitcoin pairing. And then I'm going to put in the short-term consolidation, because that is what could possibly start to tease some kind of short-term possibility of a breakout here. But I'll show you how we can expand this as well. But it's from here, it makes it a little harder to see, which I like it like that too, because then you see the expandable area that we talked about. That's the resistance that we were trying to push over when we talked in the beginning. We've started this little support here as well that seems to be honoring. It seems to be honoring the support here. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. If you break it out a little bit farther, we're still trying to push over this area at 822 is this is kind of like the finality point. If it gets over 822, that's the real area of interest.